Happy 2021, everybody. So I thought I'd pop on and do just a quick video. I was a little bit of a guest on Kathy and Colleen's stream last week, and I showed a few areas of my craft room, and it was a disaster. So I just wanted to show that it can be clean. So I did a January reset, and not going to go into all the details, but I just want to show that I can get a clean room. And here's a few of my completed journals. Here's some incompleted and completed. So what I wanted to do today was just show you this journal that I finished. And I'm going to put this on the stand and we'll do a little flip through. So when I was tidying up, I decided that a lot of the loose pieces of art that I found, I wanted to actually put in a home. And I had this sketchbook that I had started in 2019, and it started off as a smack and drag book. So like Dee Dee Willingham shows, where you just put some paint down and you smack it down and you get different patterns, and that can be the base of a page. So I had this book full of that. I'd also done some string art in it. So I'd done some string pulls like that. And I did get quite a lot accomplished in here, but it was getting super fluffy, and which is fine, but it was getting like overly fluffy. So I thought this might be a good home for some of the loose pieces of art I had, and then I can call this sketchbook, done. I removed a lot of the pages that I didn't end up putting anything on, and then I had a few blank pages as well. So I think next year I might do the folder system like Kathy Arbour does, so that if I have loose pieces of artwork, I can just put it in there. And I'm hoping to accomplish some new goals for 2021. I sort of brainstormed a big list, and a lot of what I want to do is try to do a variety of things. Because I like doing a lot of everything, so I just made a note of all the different types of art I like to do, so I'm hoping I'll just kind of go back to that during the month and make sure that I'm getting everything done. I also wanted to do a January jelly plating session, but my room is so messy and jelly plating takes up a lot of room, so I couldn't really do it until I cleaned up my room. So that's ready to go, so that's going to be my next video. But I'm just going to do a quick flip through of this sketchbook and show you what I mean by it's done. So what I did is I just put in things that I had lying around. If there was a page where there wasn't any artwork done, I found a spot for some loose artwork. So this is a jelly print I had done in 2019 when I did a Bridget Coopson challenge. When I did my smack and drag, I didn't do each side of the page. I left blank pages in between so that I could write, I'll come to that, I can write notes about what I had done. This is a watercolor I did, and I thought it looked nice on these colors. Here's an alcohol ink painting I did, and I had this these napkins collaged on this background, and I loved it, but I never did anything with it, so I thought that looked cute on there. And if I ever want to use these pieces again, they're just tacked on with these corner. Some have the corner tabs, some have double stick tape on the back, but just loosely, so it's not committed there. That's what I'd sort of done. I could still take this off, work on this page, put this somewhere else. So it's kind of like a holding spot for them so that I can file it away on my bookshelf. So for example, here I wrote down, on the page, Bombay ink, smack and drag, napkin collage of succulents. And I also tried to tack the two pages together so that when I flip through, it kind of goes to the next page. This was actually the first sketch I did in the sketchbook after I did all the smack and drags and some elephants. I thought I might do more of that. So I'd like to do more of that in the new year. Here's a little pig I did. This was a mixed collage, so I had some washi tape on the sides, and I added some of the packaging, and then stenciled a tree, used a napkin of hearts, a magazine page with hearts, and some painty swirls to bring it together. So a lot of these are actually on my Instagram. postings. And like I said, this is not in order. It's not a chronological book. It's just sort of, it contains 2019-20 artwork. But I have other books that I have other journals that I went on. This isn't the only journal I did. This is just kind of a mishmash. This was a fib paint along, and that was fun. I definitely want to do more animal paintings. There's the giraffe. So the Bombay ink, and then I painted out the outside and then added a few more Bombay inks to give it, you know, that giraffe look. Again, that was a fib paint along. This was the tracing paper over magazine images like Dee Dee showed, and then I colored them with, I glued them down on the Smack and Drag page, and I colored them with watercolors. And that's similar, except I added other images and washi tape, and I did a bit of pan pastel. I just got my pan pastels then. So I was just playing with how to use those. So the tacking together doesn't always work because of the fluffiness of the journal. But here, for example, I have notes about what I did to make this page. It's a collage. That's a doodle that I did. So the Smack and Drag looked like two fish to me, so I doodled these fish. And then I painted the background in black and did a black sky. I really like that page. This was a paint along with Kathy Arbor. She had done this style in acrylic, and I did it in watercolor, and I thought it looked really nice on this Smack and Drag page. So again, like it didn't always stick together well. This is an alcohol ink painting I had done. This was a fib paint along, but I did my cat, and she'll be gone almost a year now, and I really love this painting of her. It sort of captures her little essence, my little Abby. Again, that was just some sketching, and I had done some sketching in a book while I was watching TV, a show with the family, and so some of these elements were inspired from that. And then I put a whimsical lady on there. This is a collage that never got finished, but it just makes me laugh, so I kept it in there. This is a napkin journal page with some texture and some magicals, and I did an Instagram video of that way back in 2019, I think. Here's another page. This is Elegant Writer I did on watercolor paper with some Inktense pieces and some collaged flowers. So this sketchbook isn't very good in terms of, you know, watercolor. You really need to gesso or prepare the page. So I struggled with getting like the watercolor effect here. So that's why I had done her in the watercolor paper. This was a jelly print I had done. And then I used the strips that I cut off to add some borders. And then I doodled the rest of the borders around. So it's a fun little fish page. I don't think I ever posted this one. So it's a magazine collage, image transfer. It says Secrets and Lies, and just a bunch of doodling on there with some gel pens, some dyed coffee filters. So just to play. This I had some leftover paint on a stencil, so I just kind of smacked it in there. And then this is an alcohol paint or doodle I had done, which I wasn't crazy about it, but I thought it could use a home. This page isn't finished, but I probably won't go back and finish it. I had embossed some trees here, so it has some nice texture. And I don't know if it needs to be finished. An alcohol print that I put over top of some string art. And then, so you can see here where I started cutting out some of the pages. And I had these zines up on my counter, and I just thought, well, I'll put them away so I can find them if I ever want to look at them again. I had sent this one to Janet Young. She showed it on her stream. And this one I'd done for Dee Dee, and she showed that on her stream. So those were fun little zines. That was my first zine I ever did. That was my second. I did a Halloween zine, but I put that in my Halloween journal. And this was a mixed media page on a magazine page where Dee Dee showed you just can scrape paint to make a nice background. Alcohol ink print, again, string art, and then leftover stencil paint went down on there. String art on the sides, collaged a flower, a few elements, and then drew in the rest. Same idea, got the string art. This makes me smile because this was actually from my son's kindergarten papers with little froggy button eyes, so I put that in there. So I really like this page. Makes me smile. Magazine image over some string art, and then I did some watercolor around. This I put gesso on so the watercolor would flow a bit better, so it feels a little bit rough. This was string art here. I put a face and some waves, crown. It's not my favorite, but it was fun. This was, I put here, Bingo with Beth and Colleen, August 2019. So I have all the prompts there. That's the page that ended up. And then here is an alcohol ink piece I did. Some watercolors that I did that didn't have a home. A jelly print, botanical jelly print, and then some other tracing paper jelly. No, those were stencils, sprayed stencil on tracing paper that I glued down. And just a nice little quote. These are just photocopies of some watercolor pieces I had done. This one I sent to my mother-in-law. This one I'm sending to someone else. That was one of my resolutions, is to do more happy mail, so I'm sending the original to someone. And yeah, I thought it looked good on that background. That's the Jane Davenport napkin over, I think it's Bombay ink background. And I always meant to like draw a face here, never got around to it, but I thought this alcohol ink on Yupo looked nice there. This is a piece I had done using up a bunch of pieces left over from a jelly printing challenge. So she longed to be free from the trappings of her mind. This is a collage that I just used using magazine images on the Bombay background, and I didn't really add anything else to that. This one, I'm not crazy about it. I do like the door with the Eiffel Tower. I think if I didn't have this lady here, it would look much better. But it was fun to experiment. Watercolor, and then again a stencil leftover paint on a Magicals background. Stencil leftover paint. This is a watercolor I had done when I first got my Daniel Smiths. You can see it's very loosely tacked on there, so if I ever wanted to frame it, I could take it out and do that. This is my dragon lady. That was inspired by Lena, and she did a castle with a dragon. I just did this alien dragon lady. This was another Bingo with Beth. These are some jelly plate images I done during that challenge, and I did use this as my fib paint along for Dolphin. An image transfer, alcohol inks, and some wax pastel crayons. This was alcohol. This was leftover ink on a stencil, and it just felt very Arctic to me, so I had these polar bears sitting there waiting for a collage to appear. Never appeared, so I stuck down this alcohol ink piece here. And this was alcohol ink that I had, probably the first one I ever did, where I added a bit of doodles to it. And then you can see, you know, I cut out some pages. This is part of a friend of mine, this card, but I thought it was fitting to put at the end of, you know, since this is a 2019-2020 sketchbook, I'm gonna just attach that in there just for fun. So that is my January reset and putting some things away. I'm gonna maybe decorate this cover and put it on the shelf to browse through for inspiration another time. So I hope you all had a great New Year's, and I look forward to arting and watching your art and sharing my art with you all in 2021.